back. If you're new, subscribe. And if you're not new, then hey. Anyway, so let's talk. Let's talk about you were always manifesting. We are always in a constant state of manifestation. So, one, your thoughts and your actions and everything that you are putting out on a daily basis is always manifesting for you. So sometimes when we have a thought and we see something right after, it's because we're on that frequency and we're aligning to what we're trying to manifest, or we're again on that same frequency of what we're thinking about. So yes, you are always manifesting. Even when you were 8 years old and now you're like 25 and you see stuff coming into fruition of what you were thinking about or what you were trying to manifest when you were 8 years old. Now those things are actually coming into fruition and you're starting to see those things manifest and happen for you because you were always manifesting. So a lot of the things that I used to say when I was a little girl, a lot of the things that I used to say, one of the things I used to always say is, oh, I'm gonna move far and I'm gonna stay in a big city. Like, I always had dreams of living in a high rise when I was like little, like 12, 13. I mean, I'm still kind of little, but you know, anyway. So, but when I was like, let's say, always, just since I was a child, like I've always had big plans for myself. And you know, some people say, oh, I thought I was gonna do that as a child, but it never came into fruition. And you know, some of those things that I was manifesting as a kid, you know, some people will tell you that those things never happened to them, and that's simply because your belief and your willpower and your actual force that you're putting behind those actions also have to align. But we are, you know, as kids, we have such a high frequency, we have such a high vibration, we're able to attract, we're able to manifest things so easily because we don't have any type of fear. You know, most of the time as kids, we're very fearless, we're very motivated, and everybody is kind of just truly being themselves. And you know, as we get older, not everyone loses that part about themselves, but it's this fear of when we get older that we can't fully be ourselves anymore and we can't go into. So as we get older, sometimes we lose that spark because we have society rules, we have, you know, people trying to pull us down saying, oh, you can't do that, that's never gonna happen. You know, but you've always had these dreams as a child and as a kid. So yes, everything plays a big part in the manifestations coming to fruition when you get older, you know, because a lot of things, you still have a lot of things that are, you know, you have bills, you have kids, you have so many things, you know, that try to pull you down and try to block you from manifesting things that you always dreamed of as a kid. And even though some of those things may not align and you may not have that same vision for yourself, you know, remaining in a childlike energy as far as loving life. You know, once we get older, we feel like life has to become dull, life has to become so just routinely, it has to be this way, and it really doesn't. You know, we slip up sometimes and we get caught up in things that really aren't for us. But the best thing that I can say is, you know, how I've been able to manifest and being able to stay aligned with what I want out of life and always seeing something in that area of my life come true is really just continuing to love myself and be joyful just like I was as a child. Like, as a child, we weren't thinking about how we looked all the time. We weren't thinking about so many things that, again, that you think about when you get older. We don't think about that stuff as a child. We just living our best life. So that is the main key to staying into that manifestation energy as you get older and grow older, is it's really just embracing who you were, embracing your inner child, embracing the inner child. And as you get older, you still have that inner child. Like, I embrace my inner child so much, and I think that's again why I'm so still free spirited. Even now that I have a child, I still don't, bless you, I still don't feel like, I feel content with life, you know, but that's a whole nother video. So anyway, so yes, you are always manifesting, and the key to continuing to stay into that energy is embracing your inner child. That is literally the first step to continuing to move into your manifestation power and seeing things that you wanted come into fruition. Because literally, things that I've said since I was a child, even though it may have taken some time, you know, sometimes I'm driving by something, or I talk to somebody, or something comes up into my reality. I'm like, oh my God, you know what? I said I was going to do that as a child, and it happened. And, you know, we're always in a constant state of manifestation. And one of my, you know, one of my favorite memories of something coming into fruition to me is when I first graduated college. A little bit before I graduated college, I was like, I did not want to stay in the city that I was staying in. I was like, if I stay here, then I want to live in those apartments. And I had said that, like, the apartments were not even finished building yet. Like, I didn't even know what they were going to look like or anything. I was just like, if I stay here, I'm going to stay in those apartments. I don't know how I'm going to afford it. I didn't know how I was going to afford it. I didn't know anything, but, you know, what I spoke, it eventually came into fruition. And as soon as I graduated, that was the only apartment complex that I had applied for. And I loved my first apartment after I graduated college. It was like, you know, the best apartments in the city at that time to me. But and that video is actually on my YouTube. Actually, it's still published. So anyway, but at that time, you know, that was what I wanted out of life. You know, that was that manifestation point in my life where that's how I, you know, that was the energy that I was in. So that took, you know, 2 to 3 years to come into 2 years to come into fruition, because again, the apartments were not built yet. And I said 2 years, and this is when they were getting built. I just, you know, kept riding by, and I used to get my nails done across the street. So I was like, okay, if I stay in this city, I'm gonna stay there once I graduate. And again, it happened. And once I had got the pricing, I was like, how am I gonna afford that? So sometimes we worry about the how-to so much, and how we're gonna afford something, how we're gonna do this. Sometimes you have to have more blind faith, and you have to believe in God, the universe, whatever you believe in. You have to believe that it is gonna work out for you. And that is the biggest superpower into your manifestations always coming true and being able to constantly manifest. Is like, you cannot worry about 1, 2, 3 and ABC sometimes. You just have to set the intention, and then you follow back. You have to do like a reverse action plan sometimes. Sometimes you can get the manifestation and then figure out how you're going to maintain it after the fact. And that's not with everything. That's not with every manifestation, because no. But some of them, you have to be a crazy believer. You have to have crazy faith. You have to really, really, really believe in yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing with, you know, even where I'm living at now. This is a manifestation that this was something that I once was manifesting like before. And, you know, I didn't even believe that I could. And the circumstances were not perfect for me when I first moved into my high rise. The circumstances were not perfect, and I didn't know. Like, now I've been living here for almost over 3 years, and I am amazed, because to maintain, I was having doubt at first. I was like, how am I going to maintain this? Like, how am I going to do this? And even now that I'm flowing into different things that I want out of life, the biggest thing right now is staying focused and not worrying about the hows and the new manifestations that are coming about. So you cannot always worry about the how, but again, you were always manifesting. As a child, as a teen, you are still manifesting. Right now in this moment, you are still manifesting. Your thoughts are carrying an energy behind them. They're carrying a frequency behind them. And the higher you feel about yourself and the greater that you feel, the quicker things can come into fruition. When we're down and, low, sometimes things move a little bit slower. But I also will say, when you're down and you're low, you can also be a powerful ass manifester when you are down and you're low. Because even when I was down and low, I was still able to, get some things to roll for me and get things going for myself. So yes, we're gonna get deeper into a lot of these topics, but I just want to remind you today that you are always manifesting. So even if you had things that you thought of as a child, but they haven't came into fruition yet, they can still come into fruition. I don't think that just because you're older or time has passed by that these things can't happen. Yes, they can still happen for you. You just got to continuously believe, and you got to continuously put the action forward and take the steps mentally. So much we think that it's so much physical stuff that we have to do, but first we have to do the mental work, the internal work, before we can actually start doing things on the physical plane for things to start working out. So that is all I have for this video, y'all. So I will be getting into more topics like this and going a little bit deeper. And thank you for watching me. So I'll see y'all in my next video. Peace.